Newsfirst at 9. Headlines.
Some gripping footage which were taken today. And Newsfirst, of course, will have a comprehensive report on the weather later on in the news bulletin. Good evening and welcome. You're with Newsfirst, your number one news provider. I'm Shamir Rasuldi.
And I'm Nicola D'Zoiza. First, here's a look at tonight's headlines.
Landslides and earth slips kill 16. Heavy rains forecast for several areas, including the western province, in the coming days. Flood and landslide warnings issued. The responsibility of creating an education system that suits the nation will be fulfilled. A statement from the President. ICC says Sachitra Siranayaka has been reported for a suspect bowling action. However, Sachitra will play in tomorrow's fifth and final ODI against England.
Now on to one of our top stories. Extreme weather conditions experienced in several parts of the island since last evening have affected thousands of people. What caused the sudden change in the weather patterns? Which areas have been affected worst? And what can be expected over the next few days? Newsfirst Stephanie Lazarus is standing by at the Weather Centre with a comprehensive report. Stephanie, it's over to you.
Well, thank you, Nicola. As we mentioned earlier in the headlines, 16 people have been killed owing to earth slips, floods and landslides that were caused by the heavy rains. Most of the fatalities were reported from the Kaluthara district.
An 8-year-old girl and 4-year-old boy were killed in an earth slip in the Polwattagoda area in Kitulgoda.
My sister-in-law was stuck in the rubble. We were able to pull her out. We searched for the children, but the house was covered with mud and rocks entirely. The children were pulled out in the morning with the use of a backhoe. We took them to the hospital, but they had passed away.
11 people have been killed in a series of landslides and earth slips caused by the heavy rains experienced since last evening in Matugama, Aglawatta, Bulatsingala and Meegahatanna in the Kaluthara district. An earth slip killed 3 people in the Dammagewatta area in Kitulgoda, Kaluthara. Among the deceased was a 9-year-old girl.
We are at the Kitulgoda area where a similar landslide took place within very close proximity to the earlier incident. Now as you can see, there is a huge embankment of mud and soil on the house that was destroyed completely from the landslide.
A girl was rescued first and she was sent to hospital. The police and navy personnel came here and 3 individuals were pulled out of the rubble. They were pronounced dead when they were admitted to hospital. A man and a woman were killed by an earth slip in the Omatta area in Agalawatta. 2 people were also killed in an earth slip in the Ambagahakanda area in Mahagama, Bulatsingala. The police say that Susil Rajapaksa, also a resident of Ambagahakanda, was killed in an earth slip. A 73-year-old man was also killed in an earth slip in Kudakalupahana in Meegahatanna. A husband and wife were killed when a stone parapet wall collapsed on their house on Dharmashokamawata Talangama at dawn today. The police say that a parapet wall constructed for the security of an adjacent home had collapsed on them.
මෙහි අද උදෑසන ඇති වූ වර්ෂාපතනයත් සමග උදෑසන 4ට පමණ මෙම
The tragedy occurred at about 4 a.m. during heavy rain. This parapet wall had collapsed onto this house. What you can see here is the room that the couple was sleeping in.
ඔවුන් දෙදෙනා නිදාගෙන ඉඳලා තියෙන්නේ.
ඒක එක සැරයක් කඩම වෙනවා ඊට පස්සේ යට එක හදන්න එපා කියලා තාත්තා කිව්වා.
The wall collapsed once. My father asked him not to construct it again. He said if the house is damaged, he would pay for it. For the past couple of days, my father said that this wall would collapse. My father finally went up to him and said it was not safe. He said it was safe and would not collapse.
තාත්තගේ මානසක් ගාවදින් අපි යට වෙන ඕනේ මාධ්‍යෝ කියලා මිනිහට කිව්වා අනන්තව.
An on-scene inquest was carried out by the sudden death inspector in Thalangama, ALA Hemalata. The bodies were later taken to the Koswatta hospital.
Well, we are now joined by the director of the landslides division of the NBRO. Thank you, Mr. RMS Bandara, for joining us. The first question is there a continued risk of landslides in these areas?
Yeah, definitely yes. Because of the last night heavy rainfall especially to the Kalutara district, there are some landslides as well as there are some deaths also. Because of this heavy rainfall, sudden heavy rainfall, if it continues for next 24 hours, there may be more landslides in that area because there are a lot of vulnerable areas that is yet to go with this heavy rainfall. Because of that, National Building Research Organization already issued an early warning to these areas, especially Kalutara district, that is contain Agalawatta, Bulat Sinhala, Matugama, Palindanuara and Kalutara. Pradesi Divisional Secretary and same time we issued another warning to the Gold district. It contains Nelua and Thavalama divisional secretary. Because of that, if the rain continues, there may be some landslides in future, especially rock falls, cutting areas and landslides.
Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. RMS Bandara. But moving on, the inclement weather being experienced in many parts of the country has affected a large number of people. According to the police, one individual died as a result of flooding.
"38-year-old MH Chaminda died after being washed away in a flash flood that occurred following last night's torrential downpour in the Badugama area in Matugama. Three vehicles were washed away in the floodwaters that affected the Mavaramandi area in Kadawatha at around 3:30 a.m. today. According to our correspondent in the area, a three-wheeler, a van and a car were washed away in this manner. Area residents had been able to save the occupants of the vehicles.
A person called for me from down there. When I came here, I saw that the vehicle was leaning on the tree. There were 4 people on the tree, including a girl. We tied a rope to this light post and used it to rescue the people. 2 people had been washed away in the three-wheeler and they were waving at us from over there. A lorry came from that side. We tied a rope to that lorry and saved the other 2 people.
Delays in train services were reported today due to the Ragama railway station being inundated.
නිරන්තරයෙන් කුඩා වැස්සකදී පවා මේ රාගම නගරය ජලයෙන් යටවීම.
The Ragama town is flooded even when it rains a bit. The people are disappointed that the authorities have not taken steps to rectify this for so long.
ඇත්තටම ජනතාව වශයෙන් අපි කනගාටුවට පත් වෙනවා. කියන්න කනගාටුයි මෙච්චර ප්‍රසිද්ධ නගරයක් වෙලා.
We are ashamed to say that even though our city is a famous city with a famous hospital, it gets flooded like this. There are so many politicians who could work for Ragama. However, we still can't get it done.
An individual who attempted to rescue a cow from the raging floodwater was washed away in the ex-Hatmaut area in Kiribatkoda. According to our correspondent in the area, the victim was rescued by an area resident.
He dived in to save the cows. Although I too dived to save him, I couldn't.
The Valleypanna town, located on the Alutgama-Matugama main road, was inundated today. Severely affected as incessant rains caused the road to be flooded. Several low-lying areas in the Galle district, such as Gona Pinuwala, Baddegama, Alutwala and Kilindiwala, were inundated due to the inclement weather conditions being experienced in the area. 30 houses were submerged in the Yakkalamula area due to the Pol Atumodara river overflowing. Over 100 people have been displaced as a result of the flooding. Our correspondent in the area noted that floodwaters in some areas in Imaduwa on the Yakkalamula-Makumbara road have risen to about 8 feet. The inclement weather conditions being experienced also caused the Ginganga to overflow, flooding the Hiniduma, Udugama and Tavalama areas. Vehicular traffic along the Udugama-Nelua road was severely affected due to the flooding as well as landslides that occurred in the area. Heavy rains also caused flooding in the Arawala area along the Maharagama-Piliandala main road. 2 Air Force helicopters have been deployed to provide relief to the public that have been affected by the inclement. According to the Air Force, the helicopters are focusing their operations in the Kalutara district at present. Meanwhile, over 500 army personnel have been deployed to provide relief to the residents of the Kalutara district who have been affected by flooding and landslides. Army media spokesperson Brigadier Ruwan Wanigasuriya meanwhile noted that 10 lifeguard teams of the Sri Lanka Navy have also been deployed to provide relief.
Well, we have our reporters Chaturanga Hapuarachi joining us via Skype from Mathugama and Madhushka Balasuri, who is currently at the Med Department with the officials of the Med Department and the Disaster Management Centre. Let's now take a look at what the prevailing weather conditions are in Kalutara, which is one of the most worst affected districts. Staff reporter Chaturanga Hapuarachi is standing by live with more details. Chaturanga, what can we expect in those areas?
Yes, Stephanie, we are now at the Mathugama area. Now, this can be considered as the most affected area in the Kalutara district from the adverse weather conditions that were prevailing. Now, 5 casualties were reported in the Agalawatta area in Mathugama, including 2 children owing to 2 landslides. Now, according to what we've gathered, 11 deaths were reported from the whole of Kalutara district and close to about 4,800 people have been affected. Camps are also set up. The police and military personnel have been deployed to aid these affected people. I am Chaturanga Hapuarachi reporting from Mathugama for Newsfirst. Over to you, Stephanie.
Well, the Met Department has forecasted that wind speeds in areas off the coast extending from Mana to Pothuwil via Colombo and Hambantota could reach up to 80 kilometers per hour in the next 12 hours, causing heavy swells as well. Let's now cross over to the Met Department, where Madhushka Balasuriya is standing by with more details.
Well, thanks guys. I'm here at the Met Department and I have with me now the Director General of the Met Department, Lalit Chandrapala. Mr. Lalit, can you tell us to what extent is an occurrence like this, what we've been experiencing today, preventable?
The weather we have been experiencing during the last few days is pre-monsoonal. That's we are expecting the monsoon to break in within the next few days. So with the pre-monsoonal conditions, rains were mainly confined to the southwestern quadrant of the country, with more rain experiencing in the western coastal area and in Sabaragamua. But all of a sudden yesterday, a zone of wind convergence formed over the country, and that resulted in amplifying the rainfall which is occurring due to the pre-monsoonal conditions. The formation of wind convergence zone is practically very difficult to predict in advance, and also even if predicted, the location where the heaviest rainfall is going to be practically impossible. So in any way, the heavier rainfall can occur anywhere in the zone of convergence. So that is what really happened yesterday, and the heavier rainfalls were mostly confined to around Kalutara, Bandaragama, in that area.
So now you told us that it was very difficult to predict this weather, but could you tell us how much worse it's going to get and when we can expect it to get better?
Now we are in the pre-monsoonal situation. So, and also we are expecting the monsoon to break in within the next few days, mainly within the next week. So now, tomorrow too, we are expecting more rain in the southwestern quadrant of the country. That's in the Sabaragamuwa, Central Hills, in the western, and also in Gaul and Mathura districts. These conditions will continue for another few days, and afterwards we are expecting the monsoon to break in. Once the monsoon breaks in, then once again we have to expect more rain in the southwestern quadrant.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Mr. Chandrapala. And now I have the Assistant Director of the Disaster Management Center, Pradeep Kodipilli, with me. Now, Mr. Chandrapala just said that it was very difficult to predict what was going to happen with this occurrence of this bad and inclement weather. So, for building on that, how difficult is it for you to prevent these 16 deaths that have been reported from happening?
Yeah, so far it has been reported 16 deaths, and so we have taken all the measures to have the rescue and relief missions for so far. So better preparedness must be with the community for the better safety.
Well, so what can you tell the public now who are experiencing these conditions? What advice can you give them to prevent themselves from getting into harm?
Yeah, because disaster management units been covering entire country, so people we have been training them since long. So every village, the vulnerable villages that people need to get all the measurements for their better preparedness. We have given police cooperation to the community to get as resilience. So we are trying and we are advising the community always link with the disaster management center and the district units, and we are hoping we are trying to ensure your maximum safety, but people need to attend and do every program for the disaster management. The community preparedness ensures the better safety.
Well, there you have it, folks. The message is, do get in touch with authorities and always stick to the guidelines. But from me here at the Met Department, back to you guys.
Thank you, Madhushka Balasuri. The Newsfirst Weather Centre is standing by to keep you informed on the latest developments with regard to the adverse weather conditions as and when they unfold. For real-time satellite imagery of the weather patterns prevailing over the island, you can also visit our website www.newsfirst.lk and stay with Newsfirst for more. Over to you, Shamir Rasool.
Thank you very much, Stephanie, for that comprehensive update on the prevailing weather. Now, if you are in an affected area, what you should do is log on to www.newsfirst.lk/YouReport and submit your pictures, footage, and even submit your story. Once again, thank you very much, Chaturanga, Madhushka, and also Stephanie, for keeping us up to date on the developments on the prevailing weather conditions across the island. Now, moving on to other local stories now. The Director General of Health Services says that all possible steps have been taken to mitigate the spread of dengue. Dr. Palitha Mahipala made these remarks in an exclusive interview with Newsfirst.
The Dark Room.
A large number of adults as well as children have contracted this disease. Several fatalities have also been reported. The rains have begun once more. So isn't there a risk that dengue may spread once again?
වර්ෂාපතනයත් සමග ඩෙන්ගු රෝගය වැඩි වෙලා තිබෙනවා. ඉතින් රෝගීන් වැඩි වෙනකොට
Dengue has begun to spread with the rainy weather conditions being experienced. As the number of patients increase, we should look into how relevant authorities can combine their efforts to reduce the number of dengue patients being reported. As the Ministry of Health, our main responsibility is to treat these patients. As the Ministry, when the number of patients increase, we should ensure that we take the necessary steps to provide the facilities for patients. We should take steps to expand laboratory facilities, and we are in the process of doing it.
ගත යුතු පියවර අපි රාශියක් අරගෙන තිබෙනවා.
The Dark Room.
For more of the views expressed by the Director General of Health Services, Dr. Palatha Mahipala, tune in to the news at 10 on our sister channel, Sarasa TV. Now, the United National Party, meanwhile, has called on the government to declare a national emergency if need be and take steps to deal with the spread of dengue.
බස්නාහිර පළාතේ වගේම රටේ සෙසු පළාත්වලත් ඩෙන්ගු වසංගතයක් වගේ
We are all aware that dengue has become an epidemic in the western province and in other parts of the island. We cannot see any proper program or focus on the part of government health authorities to eradicate this epidemic. We call on the President, the Minister of Health and the government to declare a national emergency with regard to dengue and take steps immediately to rescue the people of our country. All we can see is that the government is following a policy of imposing severe taxes and fines instead of seeking solutions for these serious problems.
මෙවැනි බරපතල ප්‍රශ්න වලට විසඳුම් හොයන එක නෙවෙයි.
In other local news, 3 people died and 11 others suffered injuries in motor accidents reported from the Polonnaruwa and Arlaganville areas.
A group of family members who had been returning from a relative's wedding ceremony in Alpitia met with an accident this morning. The accident occurred when a small lorry transporting the 14 family members crashed into a tree in the Maguldamani area along the Dehiyattakandiya Polonnaruwa main road. There were people stuck in the lorry following the accident. We brought in 2 tractors and pulled the lorry back and attempted to get them, but we couldn't. Then we brought a JCB machine and pulled the lorry onto the road. After around 2.5 hours, we were able to free the trapped people. 14 individuals, including the driver of the lorry, were admitted to the Polonnaruwa Base Hospital for treatment. According to the police, 3 individuals were pronounced dead upon being admitted to hospital. The deceased have been identified as a 12-year-old girl, her 32-year-old mother and her 40-year-old uncle. Meanwhile, an individual assigned to guard the railway gate in the Alutwevi area in Shravastipura, Anuradhapura was knocked down by the Colombo-Vavuniya night mail train. The accident took place at around midnight and the victim lost his right hand and his leg as a result of the accident. The victim has been identified 37-year-old Tusita Vijayamana, who had been temporarily residing in Alutwevi. According to our correspondent, the individual had begun work as a guard 1 month ago.
President Mahinda Rajapaksa says the responsibility of creating an education system that suits the nation will be fulfilled. The President made this statement at a ceremony held at Lumbini College, Colombo today to lay the foundation stone for a Mahindodaya Technologies faculty at the school.
The President declared open the new Mahabodhi Laboratory and new indoor sports complex at Lumbini College today. Minister of Education Bandula Gunawardena, who is an old boy of the college, was also present at the occasion. Founded in 1929, Lumbini College currently has a student population of over 3,000 students.
I believe that 35% of students who enter university follow the art stream. 55% of students who sit for the advanced level examinations follow art subjects. If there are no science facilities or English teachers in the villages, then how will children receive an English education or a science education? Thereby, some children who have the knowledge are unable to enter university today. Various allegations are levelled at us today and I do not need to respond to these allegations. False allegations cannot be carried forward for long. They say we are privatizing education. Education Minister, I do not think we need to go behind these things because the people know us.
Opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe visited Monaragala yesterday.
During his visit to Mondragal, opposition leader Ranil Wickremesinghe participated in a membership promotion program. The opposition leader also visited a shop in the area.
Speaking to a foreign media institution in London, JVP leader MP Kumar Dissanayake expressed disappointment over past incidents involving his party. Newsfirst contacted MP Kumar Dissanayake in London to make further inquiries.
Do you express disappointment with certain past activities of the JVP with honest intentions?
Definitely, with honesty and in keeping with our conscience. On previous occasions too, our party has made various clarifications regarding this. The UNP government had the ability to oppress the people and kill youth. We were a political movement that loved the people and fought for the people's freedom. We are truly disappointed over what transpired.
Meanwhile, UMP parliamentarian Sajid Premadasa expressed these views on the education sector during a function held in Hambantota today.
There is no proper procedure when conducting examinations, releasing results and ensuring the secrecy of examination question papers. 39 lecturers who compile question papers say that the Minister of Education is directly interfering in the process of formulating the economics question paper. I am requesting the Minister of Education to leave this job if he cannot do it. For the sake of the children, leave or retire. MP Sajid Premadasa, who laid the foundation stone for the Katuwana Community Hall in Hambantota, also donated raw materials required for construction activities. The donation was made in line with the program to commemorate the 21st death anniversary of late President Ranasinghe Premadasa.
Up next is a look at our special segment, Crime Watch Investigation.
A body was found in a canal located in the Udaliyagama area in Kayalapatana, Kakirava. The deceased has been identified as that of 22-year-old Iranga Rukshan, residing in the Baravilla area located in close proximity to the location where the remains were discovered. According to relatives, the victim is said to have departed from his house at around 7 p.m. to see his pregnant wife, who has been admitted to the Dambula hospital.
He telephoned me and told me that he was in Kithuitiava and he would be home in 10 minutes. This was at around 8:30 p.m. He told me not to be scared.
The remains were handed over to the judicial medical officer following the conclusion of the magisterial inquiry. Meanwhile, an individual was stabbed to death with the use of a sharp weapon in the Kepapilau area in Mulatevu. According to the police, the incident is said to have taken place following a personal dispute. Another individual was injured in the incident and has been admitted to the Muliavelai hospital.
The award-winning film Sri Siddhartha Gautama was screened at the historic Aluviharya in Mathale last evening as part of a program to screen the film at temples across the island, which commenced at the Kalaniya Rajamahaviharya. MTV and NBC are the media sponsors of this venture. Devotees who visited the temple were granted an opportunity to pay homage to sacred relics prior to the screening of the film Sri Siddhartha Gautama. A group including Deputy Minister of Transport Rohana Dissanayake, producer Navin Gunaratne and lead actor Gagan Malik were present at the screening.
We are greatly appreciative of the program that has been conducted by Sirasa, keeping in mind the trend that Sirasa has shown recently with regard to reviving Buddhism. It is a timely deed, and as monks, we are gladdened by this. The Sirasa Media Network is carrying out a very meritorious deed. At this time, I wish to express my gratitude to the Sirasa Media Network for this undertaking.
Today we are at Aluviharya Temple and they have organized it in a beautiful way. We are targeting students throughout Sri Lanka to teach them the message of the Enlightened One.
The International Cricket Council has informed Sri Lanka Cricket that the umpires officiating in the fourth ODI of the ongoing England tour have reported a number of deliveries bowled by Sri Lankan off-spinner Sachithra Siranayake were considered to be of suspect.
Issuing a statement, Sri Lanka Cricket notes that since Siranayake had over the past 2 years played many ICC tournaments and 4 earlier games in the current tour without any hint of suspicion, this comes as a surprise. Sri Lanka Cricket adds that as the ICC has a procedure in place for situations such as this, SLC has no option but to adhere to the laid-down process. According to this process, Sachithra is not debarred from consideration for selection to the 5th and final ODI to be played at Edgbaston tomorrow. Sri Lanka Cricket has confirmed that Sachithra will play tomorrow. The 5-match series is currently level at 2-all.
Sachithra has been, 2 umpires have given a report saying that suspected action, but as a selection committee and also the captain and the selection tour, we have decided him to play even for tomorrow's game. So after that only we'll have to go this process. The process is we'll have to send him to Australia to further clarification. So we'll do that after this series is finished.
On to more sports news. Former coach of the Tajikistan national football team, Nikola Kavazovic, a Serbian national, has been appointed as the new football coach of the Sri Lankan national side. Meanwhile, the interim injunction order, which was issued on the President, Secretary and officials of the Executive Committee of the Sri Lankan Football Federation, was quashed by the Colombo District Court today.
Issuing a communique, the Sri Lankan Football Federation said that the injunction order was issued against the Sri Lankan Football Federation on the 21st of last month after taking into consideration the petition filed by former President of the Football Federation, Kamini Randhaniya. However, the interim injunction order was reversed by the Colombo District Court after taking into consideration the submissions made by the Sri Lanka Football Federation. Thereby, the President, Secretary and the Treasurer of the Football Federation of Sri Lanka will be permitted to participate at the Annual General Assembly held in line with the FIFA World Cup held in Sao Paulo and allocate finance for the development of the sport. In addition, the communique noted that they will also have the opportunity to participate at the special meeting of the Asian Football Federation and the inauguration ceremony of the FIFA World Cup.
Well, that's a wrap of your primetime news for tonight. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola D'Zoiza.
And I'm Samir Suldin. Join us again tomorrow, same time, same place. Till then, take care.
Good night.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.